Alright, thank you for your patience. We are back with Madcast Gaming Dojos. Archimedes is actually, who co-cast with me last game, is going to be playing this time. He's going to be on Larama's team. So it's going to be Larama, Scratch, Lag, Spike, Fleck, and Archimedes. Lorenzo, Jacinth, Purist, Hard Drive, and Forfax will make up Team 2. Fury, are you with me? So I'm going to be co-casting this second game with Fury, who's going to continue to do the play-by-play. So Fury will be doing the play-by-play. I'll introduce him once he gets back. But Fury, very knowledgeable guy, knows the games really, really well. So we'll see where this goes. But heading into the draft now, the map is going to be Infernal Shrines. Fury, you there by chance yet?
User left your channel.
Well, once Fury joins, we will go from there. So we are going to see blue team going to get the first pick. Larama going to be captaining this draft, so we'll see what he bans. Knowing that he's going against Lorenzo, I wouldn't be surprised to see either a Greymane or a Kerrigan ban here. Kerrigan especially, I think, would be a good ban given the map. But
sorry about that.
No. So Fury, go ahead and just briefly introduce yourself to the stream.
Yeah, Fury. Playing mostly on a Smurf account. I've played in the Pro League about 2 seasons, really. 2 seasons worth,
User joined your channel.
Sorry, I apologize for that, guys. Well, I accidentally clicked the draft button, so basically the guys are getting back in now, and we'll start up again.
Okay, we just had a little bit of internet issue stream, so thank you for bearing with us. We will get this set very soon. Apologies for that. But Fury, go ahead and continue to introduce yourself. I apologize for interrupting.
Not a problem. So, like I said, I played in the Pro League for about 2 seasons worth, which equates to about 9 months of professional play. Played on the backup roster for most of the road to BlizzCon. Played a little bit in BlizzCon as well in 2015. So that's about my repertoire, and more than happy to be here. So thanks for having me, Smiley.
Thank you, and I'm definitely looking forward to having your expertise. So when I say something stupid, feel free to call me out and change that. But we are seeing the players getting back in. We are going to get started. This is going to be on Infernal Shrines, so double support. This is a map where I tend to like double support even more than Battlefield of Eternity, in my experience. Do you have any thoughts on that? You would know more than me.
Absolutely. Double support on this map is huge because a lot of times supports like Tassadar, Brightwing, they bring an element of an AoE or a clear, so they do a lot of damage and a lot of work on the Infernal, on the Shrines, and they also enable those characters that excel on this map, like Kerrigan, KT. They enable them to be able to get in there and play it in more aggressive positioning. And so it's gonna be really interesting to see how both of these teams draft, because this is one of those maps where if both teams are confined to having to run double support, this game could definitely be lost or won in the draft.
And I think we'll see potentially a lot of very extended battles on the Shrines. And so bear with me as I just, keep trying to keep my mouth watered down while I'm doing all the calls. As far as what would you say, given that no healers are allowed to be banned, given that both teams have to get 2, or not necessarily healers, but support, counting Medivh, who's technically specialist, but will allow it. Where would you prioritize? What would be your top 4? If you had to form a team, you say we'll get these 2 unless they're picked by someone else, and then we'll get these 2.
Well, absolutely, I would prioritize having Brightwing and Tassadar. If you can get them together on the team, that almost guarantees a win, in my opinion.
And Brightwing's
going to be
good.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Brightwing is going to give you that split push element that
exactly.
Everyone loves, especially in the current patch.
Exactly. The global presence allows you to just get that last little bit of experience, especially in those make or break talent tiers, like the difference between 6 and 7, the difference between 12 and 13. If she's able to stay in the lane just a little bit longer to give her team just a hair of an advantage, then that team can definitely press the issue and end up not only winning the Shrines, but winning the push as well. Another hero that is highly prioritized on this, remarkably, is going to be Tyrande. Tyrande is definitely one of those choices that you want to have if you have to counterpick on this map because she's able to nuke down the shrines or the immortals so quickly, and she's able to make it so that everybody's able to soak the XP, and only her and one other have to really respond to the immortal. Now, the biggest thing on this map is that the shrine itself, the objective, isn't very good until super late in the game. So winning the shrine isn't the make or break in the game. It's not what dictates the outcome of the game, because you could lose every shrine and win the game. And that's, I think, where Taranda's strength comes. Is she enables her team to be able to do that. So again, I'm just excited to be able to see the draft and see what these teams come up with, and see what the game plans are.
Yeah, and so one thing I do want to mention is I can find cleansing to be pretty important here, and especially because of the Punisher stuns. Now, the heroes you mentioned, Brightwing and Tassadar, don't normally take cleanses. Do you think that that's just, play better and you won't need to cleanse, or do you think I'm overvaluing cleanses?
Well, with Brightwing and Tassadar, if you draft those, your prioritization is winning the shrines. It has to be, because you can't cleanse yourself out or nuke the immortals as quickly. So when you're confined to these kinds of draft parameters, if you pick up Tassadar and Brightwing, that is your goal, is to get every immortal. And if you do, chances are you'll win the game. But if you can't, then that issue of your team having the small advantage can be pushed a little bit further. So cleanses, as long as the team that drafts either of those, assuming that they do, as long as they are able to continually win the shrines, I don't see any reason why a cleanse would be mandatory for them.
Okay, and we're seeing Lorama toying with the idea of the Sylvanas ban. Sylvanas extremely good in the current iteration of the game, and also really good on any map where you have some PvE element that pushes a lane. Just because, if you're pushing, you can disable a huge bulk of the damage against that pusher, i.e. in this case the cannons from the fort and all that. Do you think that that's a good first ban to make?
I think it is. I think that they have a plan going in mind, and Sylvanas can definitely put a damper on that plan. So I'm curious to see how they plan to follow up on this, and what they plan to do further.
All right, so now we're seeing Lorenzo has not pre-picked a ban yet, so we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, he's not AFK. Hammer ban. Now, one thing I will note is if we saw Angelix on the blue team, I would expect this, because Angelix is an extremely good hammer player in our guild. That said, he's not there, so Hammer, an interesting ban there. I'm not sure I love it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat you are. Hammer ban, it's one of those bans that it's a respect ban. If you really don't want to go against it, you got to really have a plan in mind. And so if Hammer's going to put a damper on that plan, then you are probably going to end up trying to combo a couple of different abilities together and seeing where it goes. And
not a surprise to see Lorenzo. Yeah, Lorenzo and Hard Drive going right back to what worked so well on Battlefield of Eternity, which is that Tassadar Greymane combo. We're seeing Scratch on the Kerrigan though, who's in a great place, and this was a map Kerrigan was good on even when she was in a bad place.
Absolutely, Kerrigan is one of those that if she's enabled, and here we go.
Wombo combo.
What I meant by enabled. You get ETC getting any sort of damage on that Tassadar, getting a mosh off, getting any sort of stun, and all of a sudden this comp just falls apart. If there's no enough heals to be able to keep Lorenzo alive, then you're not going to have a Lorenzo anymore on that Greymane. And
yeah,
another good combination is that Jaina. So the amount of damage that they have on the side of Lorama's team is definitely scary at this point.
Yeah, and I should note, this is the point where we have to point out they have to take 2 supports, so their next 2 picks have to both be support. We also can't have the bans on support. Now, a little inside knowledge, I'm on a team with Lorama, a Team League team, and we have been working the ETC Wombas quite a bit lately, so this is something he's comfortable doing. As far as what healers they take with that comp, obviously red team's going to get somewhat of a say, because they are going to get picked. Ooh, we are seeing the Tyrael ban, though, trying to prevent that combo again. Well, it would be a respect ban, except the guy who played Tyrael last game is currently sitting in our streaming channel listening in. So,
correct.
He's not in this
Correct.
game.
However, having personal knowledge of how Archimedes could play, I am not surprised that Tyrael was banned. That is a respect ban.
Yeah. But as far as what healers you think that, given this point in the draft, you think blue team will take, given what they have, if they have their top choice?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I was going to say, what healers would you take if you had Jaina, Kerrigan, and ETC? Which two healers would you take?
I would look at having probably Rhaegar and Lily. The amount of damage. Karazim and Medivh. Okay, well, I was completely wrong. Lily with the blinds able to just completely take Vala and Greymane out of the fight, and then the supplemented heals from Rhaegar with the Ancestral available. It's just so much survivability on your team, and having the combination of Uther and Tassadar on the other side, they don't really have much synergy past maybe going with Divine Storm.
Right.
So I'm really curious to see how this works, especially because we have Forfax who's playing Anubarak, and the way Anubarak scales, he doesn't even have more HP than Greymane does post 7. So it comes as a little bit of a shock that they'd be solo tank Anubarak when we had like Muradin on the table, Johanna on the table.
Yeah. Well, but Anubarak, I think, is a good pick with the Jaina because of Spell Shield, or Dampen Magic, I apologize. I've had a lot of success with Anubarak. That said, I generally like to see a bit more bulk. I think Uther can help with that somewhat since he is bulky, but anyway, let's head into the match. So I'm going to run down the teams. On the red team, we're going to have Jacinth playing Vala. We're going to have Hard Drive on Tassadar. Lorenzo going to be playing Greymane. Purist on Uther, and we're going to see Forfax on the Anubarak. On the blue team, we're going to see Medivh, played by Archimedes. Larama is going to be on the Jaina. We're going to have Scratch playing Kerrigan, Fleck on the ETC, and Lagspike bringing up the tail end with Monk, a.k.a. Kerosene.
An interesting note here, just right off the bat, Kerrigan's going directly into that siphoning Q build, meaning that she's going to be looking at being the primary clear on the shrine. So definitely attempted to go for a bit more of a cheeky play here.
Now both teams trying to sniff each other out, but Archimedes is going to see the ambush attempt. Now Lorenzo is going to walk out in front of Fleck, trying to get the combo off, but not going to be able to get them before falling under the cannon walls. Definitely don't want to stay there this early in the game. The blue team brought 5 people into the middle there trying to secure a kill, so right now Uther and Tassadar free to get that early soak.
Absolutely, and with the combination of Medivh and Karazim, Karazim definitely has that burst healing, and Medivh with the shields. I'm actually kind of surprised to see ETC not going for more of a groupies build, just to supplement that healing, try to keep Kerrigan and Jaina alive a little bit longer to be able to pour on the damage.
Well, but Jacinth very far out front, does not get the power slide for the punish, but still very low and still very close to ETC.
And look,
up in the top lane, though. Yep.
Setting up for an ambush on Larama up top on Jaina.
Yep. Goes in a little bit earlier than I would have liked to have seen. I would like to see Jaina baited a bit further out into the lane. In the middle, though, Forfax going to have to burrow charge out to get away, but Jacinth may pay for it. Jacinth is able to vault away, but blue team doing great work in mid lane right now. We do see Jaina Hearth back pretty early on. Now, Greymane trying to get the punish on the Fleck, but went for Fleck first rather than Lagspike. I would have liked to have seen him use Dark Flight onto the somewhat squishier Karazim there, but we are seeing it's going to be bot Shrine. Bot lane pretty...
Agreed.
Not very powerful here, bot lane, because there's only one camp in it. And that would be the neutral siege camp. So...
Absolutely. And in addition, just a note here is... We did have a couple of players that had went back to tap instead of going back fully. The shrine's not activated, so that is a long time before they're able to tap the sippy cup again.
Fight going on. Lorenzo diving in onto Fleck. Both teams 5v5, very dense. Chance for Jaina to get a lot of value. Forfax already low though, has to back out and try to get some healing. Red team health bars, 4 health bars at about half right now. Blue team, though, also about the same point. We're going to see Scratch going in without support, helping him out. Gonna get dived quickly, and this is gonna give Red time to get some minions. Scratch does not have the well tap up, so he's gonna have to Hearth. So this gives a big advantage over the Red team right now. That said, that Medivh Vision's gonna let them pick a target pretty well who's low health and try to get some value out of it.
Oh, Scratch canceled his B. It's going to take him even longer to get back. It looks like this one is going to go to the red team.
Yeah, that's going to be an early over to red team. That said, this is, you know, the first Punisher always sucks. This is a Mortar Punisher who sucks even more. And it's in the lane that sucks, so not devastating for blue team.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we did have Protective Shield picked up by Karazim, probably looking to mitigate that initial damage from Greymane coming in. And then in addition, looks like Uther did pick up Protective Shield as well. Looks like most of the attempt to mitigate some of that damage is to counter burst, which I'm not truly understanding, because Kerrigan and Jaina aren't super bursty until they get their ults.
And I do want to compliment blue team. They actually baited the Punisher off the front wall onto the back cannon rather than their fort. That meant that the damage it was doing was to a much less valuable object, and it let them safely kill the Punisher. Yes, they did lose a wall, but losing a wall to a Punisher and nothing else isn't that bad.
Absolutely, definitely a good bait, and you know they did a couple of good maneuvers to keep it back.
And they did manage to split up with Kerrigan atop. Anubarak tried to go for the Kerrigan. Looks like some skill shots were missed, but Greymane still has not given up on this gank, or Greymane now maybe looking for mid.
Well, they did lose a little bit of XP in the mid as they were doing attempting to get the ganks off, so. Not surprising. It looks like XP has evened out as well. Not exactly the spot that Red wants to be in after having the wall down in the bottom lane, but definitely not super terrible for him.
Yeah, and we are seeing now bruisers being picked up by Red team. Tassadar and Anubarak working on those. Red team, excuse me, is picking up their bruisers. Blue team has not made a move for their bruisers yet, and you definitely want to get bruisers up before the second shrine because they can just push in that top lane, especially if you end up with a mid shrine. Now in this case the shrine will be either mid or top, so they'll be closer to be able to be cleaned up. Ooh, Greymane gets picked off in the middle though. Got a bit too aggressive.
Good maneuver by that ETC. The body blocking was just on point.
And it is going to be a mid shrine, but Greymane's still in the penalty box for 7 minutes before he can come out. And I do actually like, now that I'm seeing why they picked Medivh, it's because they were respecting that ambush that Red Team kept pulling off last time. Remember, most of these players were on Red Team, or at least certainly Hard Drive and Lorenzo were kind of the bulk of Red Team's kills there.
Absolutely.
But Blue Team's going to have an early advantage here, although now comes Greymane. The question is, who tapped and who can still tap? Ideally, you don't want to tap before the Shrine phase, but Farfax goes in deep, trying to get the kill onto Fleck. Farfax is going to have to get out, but does get healed quickly, and Lorenzo's going to be able to poke it down. Jacinto in a bad spot is going to get blown up by Scratch. And now 4-on-4, and it looks like the health bars are a little bit fuller for Blue Team.
Oh man, this is just a brawl. I do want to point out that ETC would have survived had the Kerrigan been able to land a combo. I haven't seen a combo that was able to be landed yet, mostly using the abilities individually, which isn't terrible, but it's definitely not the position that you want to be in, having that as one of your main damage.
Right, and but Medivh is going to get blown up by Lorenzo, and now Kerrigan going to get stunned out as well. Really good job by Uther to get the lockdown. Yep, and they are going to, and so this is almost certain, well, it should go over to Red Team at this point, unless Blue somehow manages a miracle attack, but at this point, if I'm Blue, I'd like to go out and soak, because you don't want to get too far behind heading into 10s with a Punisher coming up. And this is going to be an Arcane Punisher. That's a power one.
Not only that, but look at all the work that the top lane has been just harassed with. That camp has done work.
Yeah, it's already taken out the wall, and now it's onto the fort, and no one from Blue Team has gone up to clear it. And now Red Team about to get their heroics, but we're seeing a lot of low health bars on Red Team. Heroics now being picked. We are seeing Go for the Throat taken already. None of the other heroics have been picked yet. They're probably grabbed them after Arson.
Now, I do want to point out that Cleanse was picked up on the side of Karazim, so definitely looking to try to get some sort of mitigation away from maybe the stun potential of Vala. That's the really Vala is the only interrupt for Mosh, so having that ability to cleanse out of the Rain of Vengeance is going to be huge.
Now, one thing I should note is I didn't even catch it. Blue team actually won that Immortal. That was impressive to go in and get the steal. They were close. They only needed 6 when red team needed 12, so they managed to get what they needed with that poke. They don't get a ton of value out of the Immortal, granted. They don't even get a full wall. But, you know, it's better than losing your own wall, which they likely would have done in that situation.
Like Wiggins are going to go ahead and grab the towers in the mid as well.
Yep. But that top fort is done. A little bit too late to rotate. We are seeing blue now grabbing their bruisers. I think this is too early, though, because it's going to give red team plenty of time to rotate up and clear it. We are seeing red team roaming as 5 to take this siege camp, and Fleck is going to get spotted out. Going to have to get out of there.
Yeah, and they did see the camp get taken up at the top, so they know that there's at least 2 there. A little bit early in the game for anybody on the side of blue to be able to solo one of those camps. So,
but they are going to go try to take this fort on bottom, and Jaina right now pushing mid, hasn't rotated down yet. Now Jaina and Kerrigan are going to come down. Oh, but the Mosh comes in. 3-man Mosh going to get interrupted by the Rain of Vengeance. Great heads-up play by Vala, but a 3-man Ring of Frost. Vala's going to get absolutely blown up by the Jaina, and now this is a full retreat for the red team. Hard drive is low, using the wall to save himself, but now Forfax is going to get blown up. Does manage to land a cocoon. Looks like that cocoon was on the Kerrigan, but that was...
Yeah, the cocoon was just enough to cause him to disengage.
That was a great Mosh. Had to forced out Vala's ultimate, which gave Jaina the opportunity to pop that Ring of Frost. Really good counter engage by blue to force red, get a couple kills, and now they're back in the lead in that XP gap. They're already almost at 13 as the shrine's coming up, so that's going to be a huge advantage entering the shrine.
And I'm not upset about the camp being taken a little bit early there, because it did still manage to get the wall up hop, and that forced him to rotate, and blue's going to get a really early advantage in the Immortal as well.
Yep.
And just to point out, the Kerrigan did take Psionic Pulse at level 4, so they're not going to be able to get the amount of mana value out of the resets for the Q on the minions down on the shrines. So probably looking a little bit more of an engage, maybe.
Well, Forfax engaging 3v5 here. Is going to have to burrow charge out. They do not have their whole team. It looked like Greyman and Tassadar, knowing that it might not be a winning fight, went ahead and grabbed their bruisers and are now clearing up mid. So it looks like Red's giving this up, but Forfax and Karazim did not get the memo, and they are going to pay for it. Did you get that memo? Let me make sure you get a copy of that memo.
And actually 13 was picked up by blue side first. This is huge. The amount of XP that they were able to gain off of just the small advantages that they pressed were immense. I mean, the red side is still ahead on structures, but that XP lead is huge, because now they can press the advantage and probably try to get this bottom forward.
And now one thing I want to say for newer players out there, you notice that the Punisher's always being baited over the wall. Oh, but the Root's gonna pop the Dimensional Shift on hard drive, but oh my goodness, what a great combo there to just the burst damage was oh my goodness, 3 kills there. And the chase is still on. Jacinth is low. Oh, the Mosh is going to secure 2 more. That is a full team wipe. What great Mosh by Fleck to dive under the towers, trusting his Medivh to pop the shield. We're seeing the Divine Palm popped on Fleck there after all 5 have died, so that's interesting timing. But otherwise, just what a brilliant play by Fleck to go in and secure those last 2 kills and keep this power play up and running.
You know, Fleck is
look at that top lane.
The key.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that top lane
already down up top.
So that bruiser is still getting value, and no one responded. Now Larama forced to respond. Blue team tries to invade the siege camp and does get value out of it. So they're trying to get counter push here, but they lost a lot of their wall up top. So a top shrine would be very dangerous for blue right now, because they don't have the wall to hide behind to bait out the Immortal anymore.
Looks like they're trying to get some pressure mid as well, and 16 is just on the horizon for blue.
Ooh, and red team looking for the counter engage before 16, but they might have waited too long. 16 is too close. That said, here comes the engagement nonetheless. 5v4 fighting under the tower, but Medivh's going to drop in. That is 5v5. Polybomb going to come out, force red team to spread out, and that's going to be a route onto Forfax. Forfax going to burrow charge out. He's going to get away. Lorenzo's very low up front, but overall the health bar is just so much more full. Rain of Vengeance trying to doesn't get any value. Oh, ETC just doing such a good job setting up those kills. He sets them up, and Scratch and Larama are just knocking them down.
Now, 16 did get picked up right at the beginning of that engagement, but for some reason, none of the teams picked their talents quite yet.
It is a lot of younger players, and so they haven't memorized hotkey yet. By younger, I mean like sub 1,000 games and all that, so many haven't memorized the hotkeys. I know I haven't yet, so I would be one of those players who haven't picked their talent yet.
Fleck has just been on point with his ETC play, constantly zoning, constantly stunning the targets that needed to be stunned. It's just incredible to see, such excellent play for just standard builds. It hasn't even been the Moshes that have been the huge impact play. It's been the power slides. It's been the
face melts. Yeah, the face melts have been huge, and right now we're seeing Red just giving up and trying to get Soak. But Lorenzo and Forfax are getting Soak very close to where the entire blue team is. So they are going to have to run away from this. Blue team not so in a rush to get this Immortal that they're going to ignore two people basically asking to die.
Absolutely.
But the two siege camps being taken by the red team, and we are seeing Greymane and Nubarak going very aggressive, going to invade the Bruisers, while blue team focuses on the shrine. Blue team's going to get the shrine here, but red team's actually going to get the Bruisers on the left side, where that wall is already weak, we should note. So someone's going to have to go home and clean that up. Oh, but Forfax too late to get out. Oh, that is... Oh, burrow charge. That's not going to be enough. Oh, but the Q is going to be able to save him. Oh, combo not landed, but finally enough stuns to get it down. Jacinth and Hard Drive try to go in to make a save, but now the best thing they can do is just GT the FO, or otherwise they're going to be joining Anubarak in whatever hell he just went to. Lorenzo right now forced to solo the Punisher. Cue the Benny Hill theme music, because he almost got leapt to death.
Now, I want to point out that Medivh is actually top on hero damage in the server right now, almost about to cap 40,000 hero damage, which is amazing for a Medivh player when it's, just sub 15 minutes.
Yeah, the Medivh play has been really good. He knows when to get vision. He knows when to do damage. Some would say, some of the pros have said that Medivh right now for organized team play is overpowered because it has utility and damage. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Absolutely, I completely agree, especially with the talent pickup here at 16 with Circle of Protection, allowing that protected shield to extend to the other members of the team, especially with...
Blue team looking for the engage here. Scratch is going to pop the... I can't remember the name of the heroic, but Maelstrom, that's it. Oh, and that Jaina root is going to secure the kill onto Vala, and now going to have to pop Prescience' hard drive, getting away. I don't know if that was Prescience pop or just a normal phase shift. But the counter kill onto Jaina. Greymane is going to pay for it, but does manage to kill the Jaina while that Bruiser camp is already up top. Lorenzo not particularly happy about that play, it appears. Forfax thinking that blue team wasn't going straight back to that camp and was wrong. And now blue team trying to go engage again, not going to get the engagement. The Siege Giants do go over to blue, but all the while, look at this keep. It's already at about 2/3 health, and it's dropping faster. These minion changes are doing work on the blue team right now. They need to send someone back to clean this up, or they're going to have a lane with catapults.
Absolutely. If blue doesn't respond, like I said, shrines don't have to be won on this map. Shrines are something extra. You don't have to win them to win the map. And the top lane, it's out of ammo. It's about to die. That is an open lane for one team fight to go terribly for blue, which they haven't up to this point, but one team fight and blue will lose. And this is the perfect time to do it. Jaina is back in base.
Oh, the stun comes out. Polybomb onto the red team. Gonna get so much value. It's spreading like crazy. And, oh my goodness, that Polybomb was spreading like Pokemon Go, and now Lorenzo in a lot of trouble. Just red team trying to disengage safely. that polybomb was just brutal.
It was crazy the amount of ability that it had to spread. It was. I'm definitely impressed, Cotton.
Yeah, the Medivh play has been great. The ETC play has been great. So even though we haven't seen a lot of combos hit from Kerrigan, just overall, ETC and Medivh have set Blue Team up so well. And even though ETC did die there, they still got a lot of value. That said, Red Team now looking for the counter engage. 5v4, Blue Team only needs 6 minions. Oh, but the dive is so hard. Polybomb, though, once again, it's spreading like crazy.
So much value.
It is spreading like mono in a college dormitory.
That is 2 deaths already, and that right there could be game, guys. That definitely could be game. Top lane is open.
Top lane is open, but ETC now back up. Larama, though, almost going to get caught out, is going to get saved by the Medivh. Purist and the Synth going to get out of there. The Polybomb did a good job, but eventually they were able to collapse. Polybomb getting a lot of value around this bottom shrine because it's so tight spaced around it, and I think it really pays off on this map especially. Blue Team
stacking up in the top lane as
Blue Team does manage to snipe the last few minions they need to grab that Punisher, and right now, Red Team gonna have to come in defend. Their bot fort is gone, so this is gonna go straight to Keep. And the Keep wall already took a bit of damage, but it's fairly healthy. That said, Blue Team not going to be able to capitalize and push with this Punisher because of how much damage they've taken in this top lane.
And finally, Blue Team responds to the threats up top. It took a Keep falling and minions to be pushing all the way up to the lane for the response, but finally it does come.
They didn't respond to the Keep falling. They responded because they lost the team fight. So it seems like they're so relying on that team fight ability that they've had much of the game that they thought that they were just going to win that Punisher cleanly and be able to push, I think. But now level 20, though.
That really comes down to how good this ETC is. He's the whole reason they have been winning these team engagements.
Yep. We are seeing Torbus taken from the ETC. ETC just has the best level 20s in the game. All 5 of his level 20s are all brilliant in the right situation. Normally, I like to kind of hold off with ETC, but maybe Flex sees something that Flex can pull off with the Torbus. Who am I to criticize Flex ETC play at this point?
I think we're definitely not in a position to make any second guesses. He's been on point the entire game.
But Blue Team now invading Bruiser camps on top. No one responded to the Bruiser camps on top before, and now Red Team, I think, sniffing it out, but too late.
Well, Red Team couldn't have been able to respond anyway. They still don't have 20s. That would have been a huge disadvantage for them.
That is true. I forgot to look up at the level. But still, it's going to force Blue Team to have to waste a ton of time. They can't try to look for an engage and pick off before Red gets 20. They have to clean up mid and then bot lane.
I would have loved to see Blue just kind of hang out in the bushes up near and then wait for Red to respond to the top lane and commit to getting some sort of a gank. Because then at that point, they could have gotten back in this game structurally and not had that huge threat of being pushed down up top.
And the structures are technically equal at 3 apiece, but keeps are a whole hell of a lot more valuable than forts are. Looks like it's going to be a mid-shrine, so this is actually a really good blessing from RNGesus onto the Blue Team, just because that Punisher would have to get so much value for the Red Team in order to threaten core, whereas if Blue Team manages to get a couple pickoffs, this Punisher could be game for them.
Now, I want to point out that Wizen Duelist was picked up at 7 by this Greymane, and up to this point he's only got 3 stacks, which is good, he's in the positive, but it's only 3 stacks. We're only seeing 9% additional damage, and that could definitely be a big make-or-break point for this engagement. I mean, this engagement right here could be the entire game.
And we are seeing the poke. Oh, but the portal tries to come in. Mosh from the portal. Great combination. The root's going to land on the red. So much damage coming out, though. Blue manages to get the kill. I love the portal Mosh. That was beautiful.
Huge play.
That was great communication, great awareness by the team, and then the follow-up was on point with the Jaina root. They managed to get the kill on the Greymane and Tassadar. Almost had more kills, but great use of ultimates. both Divine Shield and Rain of Vengeance to get the peel that they needed.
You know, I gotta be honest, I would not be surprised if the Medivh on blue team is shot calling for them. He just seems to be able to set up the team with so many flanks, so much vision, that it really enables Fleck to shine. And I think that's been the story of this entire game, is those two just doing so much work together.
And I should note that Arc shot calls a lot for our team, so I wouldn't be surprised by that. But yeah, catapults are on core. And I think red team's like, oh, they'll go away soon. No, they won't. The catapults don't get bored anymore. I mean, yeah, this group's going to get killed by that minion wave, but what's going to happen with the next catapult? Still, blue team presses on. Now onto the core. Fleck tried to dive to get a kill, but there wasn't the follow-up needed. Shrink Ray used on the ETC. Polybomb spreading once again, but they don't let it spread too far this time. But red,
the arcane beams are just doing work on red team right now.
Yeah, the poke is real. And that said, not bad defense by red team when you consider that this is a level 20 Punisher, level 22 Punisher, and it only got keep. Oh, but then absolute great combo, Scratch jumping in with the Maelstrom, getting the stun from ETC. Well, no, but the follow-up, Fleck is now very low. Fleck going to get blown up. That Rain of Vengeance got value. Lag Spike now out of position. Lag Spike going to get blown up. I think blue team was doing a little bit too much stacking under the cannons, sharing some of that splash damage. That said, now blue team has to just get back and clean up. That top lane is in trouble. This bot lane now is causing a lot of trouble. And instead, it looks like blue team, catches Lorenzo out of position. Lorenzo too aggressive on the chase.
Oh, man. Now that advantage is back in the favor of blue, and they're going to be able to clear up camps, clear the lanes back, get everything pushed back, and this sets them up for a huge amount of pressure on the map.
They're going to go ahead and grab this red side siege camp. Red going up though, grabbing the bruisers. They see that the Achilles heel of this red team is in the top. The problem that blue team has to be aware of, despite their ability to win the team fights, they are on a razor's edge, and they have been for a while. If there is a big team fight on a shrine where red wins, say, 3 kills to 0, there's no reason to finish the shrine. At that point, you just need to go core. And but now, of course, blue team has that option as well, with the mid being open.
Now, the mid lane is a little bit more threatening than top lane. The lane's shorter. Minions get stacked up a little bit faster.
And it's the closest to all 3 shrines by average.
Exactly. So we're looking at a slight advantage for blue in structures, but it really comes down to how well these teams are going to rotate to be able to push the lanes back, get pressure, and then the team fight. This next team fight again could.
But that top lane shrine, blue's RNG luck has run out. They've been it's not been all luck. They've won the team fights cleanly. They are going to clean up this top lane and grab the bruisers for the counter push.
Now all the ultimates on the map are available, so we're going to see this come down to this final engagement, whether or not red can really bring this
and
back.
Red only has Greymane out, but Greymane not scouting the lane is actually pretty far away. I don't like that position to try to wait out. That said, Archimedes going very deep here. But now we're finally seeing Lorenzo come in for the engage. He's going to try to get back onto that Larama. That Ring of Frost has medallion him. That's spotted by Fleck. Stun coming out. Kerrigan going to dive onto Lorenzo. Lorenzo has to run out of there. Divine Shield has to be blown onto that Lorenzo. The Mosh is a whiff. The Rain of Vengeance is a whiff. This is a huge turn of events in favor. We are seeing the Cocoon coming out from Forfax. Oh, but the Root collects 3. Lorenzo now very low. Oh, but ETC is going to get blown up. Polybomb spreading. Greymane gets blown up while diving. Greymane, very low health. Vala got blown up. But then Forfax is going to get caught out of position. That Ring of Frost. 2 wasted ults from red team. Or 1 wasted ult with the Mosh. 1 wasted from red. 1 wasted from blue. But that Ring of Frost is the ultimate to end all ultimates there.
Absolutely, and the polybomb on the whole game has been just a thorn in Red's side. It's continuously spread 2 or 3 times every single time it's been
exactly. It's just
They
been valuable.
really need to focus more on positioning for these team fights to go in their favor. They've got the
Hard drive overstaying is welcome. Gets the vulnerable onto him. Polybomb now onto Lorenzo, who is not backing out. Storm Shield going to be blown. Lorenzo trying to make something happen. Does manage to get the kill on Medivh, but it is a 2-for-1 trade. And that is not the kind of trade... Oh, no, actually, yeah, they managed to get Medivh, but they lose now 3 heroes just to get Medivh. They lose Uther, Greymane, and Task. That was a situation where Red should have just cut their losses and fall back to the Fend. You have the keep while still up top. You have the ability to kill that Punisher. And instead, just trying too desperately to make something happen. Redemption bringing Uther back up, who I guess is just having fun at this point, because he blatantly commits suicide. Oh no, I guess he was... Oh, he was trying to finish the Punisher, I see. They were actually really close on minions. Never mind.
Now, I want to just point out that Core on Red side was at 55 at the end of that engagement, and now at this...
And the catapults are going to take it down. Well, not yet, but... Yeah.
But now, it's just going to be the final engagement. They're just going to go away and throw a couple of things on it, and just call it good.
So they were just trying to grab the camp, but yeah, this is good.
To try to rotate back to defend.
I mean... Who would you award your MVP to at this point? Medivh or ETC? This is really Sophie's choice.
I would personally say ETC, just because he responded to everything Medivh was doing in terms of vision, to really get those picks taken care of. I do want to give it up for, excuse me, for the Tassadar play on the opposite side. It was just on point. Keeping up with Uther on heals, but ultimately he was allowing his team to stay in the engagements long enough to have a chance. Unfortunately, just team positioning continuously caught them off guard and wrecked them.
I agree. Overall, just Blue managed such great counter engages. Blue managed to dictate the fights with their ultimate usage. The one ultimate that got Blue had 2 ultimates that got value every single time they were used. And I don't count Mosh just because, they missed the one. So close. But the Ring of Frost got 2 or 3 people minimum every time. Medivh got 2 or 3 people with Polybomb several times every time. And that ultimate usage, I think, ultimately made the difference in the team fights and thus the game.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you.
And on the red team, so you're going to throw your MVP over to Tassadar. I think I'm going to agree. But that said, team fight-wise, Blue dominated. But, that speaks to Red's rotation. And I think their ability to just play the map when they can. That even though they lost a lot of Punishers, even though they lost a lot of team fights, they still got the first keep in that game.
Absolutely. Red was able to apply a lot of pressure in lanes. Unfortunately, when it came down to positioning in the team fights, they continuously got caught off guard. They continuously got caught out, and it really was the thorn in their side. It was what killed them, was just positioning.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that last team fight where we had in the top shrine, Lorenzo was staying at bottom, clearly trying to go for the flank, but was really far away. And then when it went for the flank, it was sniffed out real quick, wasn't it? I guess he was trying to go for Jaina to try to take that Ring of Frost out of the equation and go for the squishy target. But ultimately, he ended up having to get out, needed to blow the Divine Shield early in the fight. Rain of Vengeance was blown trying to save Greymane. And so by that point, they're already down 2 ultimates, and Greymane is low, and Vala is low. And so I think ultimately Lorenzo would have done his team better just being somewhat closer to them, and certainly not trying to be too clever for his own good, I think.
I think the best option in that kind of situation would have been to make sure that Greymane had a shield on him, stack another shield, stack Divine Shield on him, and let him try to go ham on the Jaina, because the Jaina really was able to pour on a lot of damage with zoning from the ETC. And had that been the case, where he was able to blow Jaina up before any real damage was inflicted to his team, then the fights would have gone their way every single time. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and they continuously got caught out.
And it seemed the Divine Shield was always used defensively. It was often used on Greymane, Anubarak, Vala to save their lives, not to enable them. And that's usually the sign of a team that's losing their team fights. in my view.
You know, that's definitely something that comes with some experience. When you're confident enough in your play to be able to use Divine Shield appropriately, and I'm not just saying your play in Uther, but your play in how your teammates play with Uther. It really speaks to how well you can use those ultimates offensively.
We definitely saw great ultimate usage. I'm still just taken aback by that portal ETC Mosh combo. But at this point, the teams are hopping into the replay of the game to watch that. This is something the dojos do, is we watch the replay and analyze. So at this point, I'm going to hop up to the channel. I'm going to kill the stream. I want to thank you, Fury, for casting with me. It was a pleasure. I also want to throw a shout out to Archimedes, who cast the first game with me. I had a lot of fun tonight, so thank you again, Fury.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And you can check our group out at madcastgaming.com. We do these dojos every Tuesday, as well as we have ARAMs on Saturday. Starting to work on building up some team leagues, so watch out for me to start casting some scrims. And hopefully, we're hoping one of our teams will, or maybe one or two of our teams will join Cheer League soon. We'll kind of keep an eye out on that. But thank you again, everyone, for watching, and take care.